Yeah, we're good.
All right. You gave us a pretty good overview, obviously, in the presentation, but for the folks who we have to break it down and boil it down for in about a minute, 30 seconds, I want you to first talk to us a little bit about Rocket Crafters and what exactly you all will be doing here in Titusville.
Well, we plan to do most of our operations here from our headquarters being here. All of our research and development will be here. Rocket motor production, propellant production, and flight vehicle assembly and flight testing.
You're giving some pretty impressive examples there. It sounds ambitious, to say the least, but you were talking about Melbourne, Florida to Melbourne, Australia as an example. What type of aircraft would this be?
Well, it'll be one similar to the ones we show over here, but these are vehicles that take off conventionally from a runway under air-breathing power. They accelerate to high altitude at high speed, then they transition to rocket-powered flight. They leave the atmosphere. They follow a downrange suborbital track. We're not going orbital. We use techniques to maintain constant velocity. It's called atmospheric skipping. And for the people that have aerospace backgrounds, they can go research that. And when we go to approach and land at the destination airport, we transition back to air-breathing jet-type propulsion systems so they can do a conventional approach and landing just like any commercial airplane.
How fast would they be?
We estimate that our transport vehicles will fly at a terminal velocity of Mach 6.
How soon do you hope to have this aircraft built and, I guess, available?
Well, the first aircraft we're developing is a test bed, and we will also use it as a primary trainer for pilot astronaut candidates. That vehicle will be followed by a more capable vehicle called Sidereus, and Sidereus will be our first suborbital vehicle, and we estimate that we'll start flight testing on that within 5 years, and that will be followed by Cosmos Mariner, which is our long-range transport, passenger as well as ultra-priority cargo delivery capability, and that vehicle will have approximately 7,000 nautical mile range. Imagine taking what is normally a very long, tedious commercial airline flight from Melbourne to Melbourne, and instead of it taking 16 hours where you're confined in a commercial aircraft, that flight would be under 2 hours. So it's a significant leap in terms of air and space transportation.
Tell us how large your company is now. We heard about initially about 150 jobs created, ultimately 1,300, but how large is this company right now?
Well, currently we have, between our advisory team, our senior management group, and our contractors, we're about 25 people at this point. And some of those contractors will replace with employees here in Titusville. And all of our management team is moving here, which is a statement of commitment, I think, to the city and to the county.
How big of a decision did the fact that you have a Space Coast workforce here, the workers from the space shuttle era already in place, how big of a decider was that?
Well, the total workforce here was a big deciding factor, not just the former NASA folks, but we met with senior people from Florida Institute of Technology, from Central Florida University, who have excellent aerospace programs and space programs and rocket propulsion programs. We were very pleased with what we saw there, and we are looking to those universities, your college system here, to provide us with a lot of employees. We think this will be great opportunities, not for just the seasoned workers, but also the young people coming into their first jobs out of college.
Ron, one thing that kind of stood out to me, you mentioned Space Coast Regional Airport being a spaceport.
That's correct.
That has not been said and even talked about.
No, and it's been, I would imagine, purposely kept quiet until today. And one of the conditions that we made for our site location is that we needed access to an FAA licensed spaceport, not a vertical spaceport like Kennedy, but one that would accommodate horizontal launch, conventional runway launch like we're planning. And we evaluated Space Coast Regional Airport as well as other airports in Central Florida, and we felt that this was the ideal location because of its immediate access to the Eastern Test Range as well as the the spaceport's restricted airspace that covers Jacksonville. All of that supports our type of operation.
Okay, Mayor Tully, as I was listening out there, one of the things that stood out to me was the fact that it sounded like the city of Titusville had committed to helping build an interim headquarters for this company. So talk to me a little bit about, is this something that's being built from the ground up? And I guess what the cost will be to the city?
Well, the cost to the city will be very little, because what we were able to do is structure a deal that is using city-owned land, but the building, their temporary quarters of about 27,000 square feet, will be constructed by private enterprise. Private enterprise will own the building and lease the land from the city very cheaply. In fact, it may be for nothing. Maybe it's $1 a year or something like that. The point is, the city was given this land, so the only cost to the city is that there's some number of acres there that we can't use in the short term, but we don't have any short-term plans for it anyway. So this was one of those beautiful gifts in that it was a win-win for everybody. We had some land that was available. We have a private developer who wants to build a building and lease it to them. They have temporary headquarters that they can use until they move into a permanent facility. It just couldn't work out any better. And I have to really praise our city staff, because it was our staff that came up with this concept of how do you find temporary quarters for them while they get themselves up and running.
Obviously, I hear that there are a lot of people in the audience here who are very excited about this. How big of a deal is this for the city of Titusville?
Oh, it's a game changer. And the thing that's so neat about this is precisely the kind of company that we wanted to attract to Titusville. They fit us like a glove, because look at our motto, Gateway to Nature and Space. And as I said in my opening remarks, we're opening up a new gateway to space. They're opening up a new gateway to space. And this city has such a long history and tradition of being involved in space, all the way back to Project Mercury. And every step along the way involved the next technological breakthrough. So here we are again on the cusp of another technological breakthrough, and I just couldn't be more proud of our community, because we can be part of this, and it just fits into everything we want to do here.
Thank you, Mayor Tully. Away from Utah, Texas, Colorado, and New Mexico, what types of incentives were available to get this company to choose this area?
Well, the state of Florida and Brevard County offer a host of incentives for different companies for different types of industries. This particular business received a qualified target industry incentive, an ad valorem tax credit, and one or two other tax credits and abatements that are available to them. That's really a matter for the company to disclose should they choose to do it. But the right thing to say here is that Florida is serious about doing business. I mean, look at the players we're competing against: New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, Texas. I mean, these states are real players in the economic development world, and we're serious about business here.
This is really, it sounds like it's not just a fledgling company, but a fledgling industry that they're talking about doing here in terms of commercial suborbital flight here. I mean, how are you able to determine what the economic impact will be here? How do we figure that out?
Well, we work very closely with the company during the recruiting process to talk about what types of jobs they're going to need, what types of hiring plan they're going to have, what type of investment they're going to have, and what sort of tax revenue they will create as they begin to grow. Obviously, a company that is at 25 roughly employees now that expects to grow to 150 by the end of 2014, and then rocket out from there as time goes by, there is some risk. Do you take a risk on a game changer, as the mayor just said? Absolutely. It's the perfect fit for Brevard. It's the perfect fit for Titusville. It's the perfect fit for the workers who've been displaced by the retirement of the space shuttle. It's absolutely ideal. So yes, we've all taken, the state's taken a risk, the county's taken a risk, the city's taken a risk, but the technology has been proven. They've got bench scale testing done. We believe that they can be successful, and we're here to support them in their numerous challenges to see this thing come to market.
I guess my other question would be, are there certain goals or benchmarks that the company has to meet in order for these incentives to kick in?
All incentives are performance-based. You don't hire the jobs, you don't get the incentives. You don't build the facility, you don't make the investment, you don't get the ad valorem tax credit. So they're all performance-based. Nothing really is for nothing. all economic development organizations, and particularly the EDC here in the Space Coast, we do a return on investment calculation as we look at how the business will grow and the types of revenues they're going to create, jobs they're going to create, spin-off jobs that they create, and we see what we can afford to do for them. So that's how economic development really works, and we are very serious about it. We have the County Commission and our investors and the citizens of Brevard County entrust us not to make foolish decisions with incentive money. So we have to prove that the investments that we're making on behalf of everybody are performance-based.
Okay. That's all I have.
That's good. Thank you.
So Laura, there was a tremendous amount of excitement today regarding Rocket Crafters' decision to locate here in Titusville. Can you tell me a little bit about the process?
Certainly. The city is, and the citizens are very excited about Rocket Crafters' announcement. The city is very pleased and privileged to have been selected as Rocket Crafters' worldwide headquarters. The Space Coast Regional Airport will be the home of R&D, manufacturing, and operations worldwide for Rocket Crafters.
Well, no wonder there's so much excitement. Can you tell me what the single biggest factor was in their decision to locate here?
Other than our geographic location, the company identified that our world-class workforce of former shuttle workers was one of the major factors in their decision to locate here.
So what are some of the other attributes that led to their decision to locate here in Titusville?
Well, the geographic location of the Space Coast was important to their operations. And in addition to that, Titusville's hometown feel, our 27 miles of unspoiled beaches, world-class fishing, golfing, year-round great weather.
So the project was known as Project Speed, and for some time that's been out there. How long have you been working on this particular project behind the scenes?
We were first introduced to the principles of Project Speed in the fall of 2011, and we worked very closely with our partners from February until through today, and will continue in the future.
Can you tell me some of the partners that you worked with?
Certainly. We worked with the Space Coast Economic Development Commission, of course the City of Titusville, the Chamber of Commerce, Enterprise Florida, the North Brevard Economic Development Zone, and Space Florida, as well as the Economic Development Commission of Florida's Space Coast.
So certainly you had a lot of partners involved in this project. As a result of Rocket Crafters' decision to locate here, do you see other synergies, other companies that are becoming interested in our area now?
Yes. In addition to Rocket Crafters creating the 1,300 jobs here on the Space Coast, we have had calls from companies worldwide who are very synergistic in the supply chain, and we're looking forward to recruiting them to Titusville. As many as an additional 900 jobs have been identified as a result, potentially as a result of the Rocket Crafters' decision to move here.
Thanks, Laura. As a designated spaceport, I'm sure there's going to be more announcements to come.